At 70, Reba McEntire finally tells the truth about Kelly Clarkson. Reba McEntire was born Reba Nell McEntire on March 28, 1955 in McAlester, Oklahoma. She grew up in a family that loved rodeo culture and the country traditions of the American West. Her father, Clark McEntire, was a champion steer roper, and her mother, Jacqueline, was a school teacher who noticed her children's musical talents early on. Reba, along with her brothers and sisters, learned to sing when they were very young, often singing together during car rides. Music wasn't just something fun to do, but a way of life. And this background would eventually lead Reba toward an amazing career that mixed her country roots with the excitement of stardom. Starting from humble beginnings, Reba's journey to fame didn't happen overnight. She was first discovered while singing the national anthem at the National Finals Rodeo in Oklahoma City in 1974. Country star Red Steagall heard her performance and was impressed by her natural vocal strength and realness. With his help, she traveled to Nashville where she eventually signed a recording contract with Mercury Records. Her first singles in the mid-1970s only had limited success. But Reba was determined. She worked really hard balancing her music career with her education at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, where she studied elementary education and kept her natural down-to-earth personality. By the 1980s, Reba began to break through the competitive world of country music. Songs like How Blue and Somebody Should Leave showed off her emotional delivery and crystal-clear voice, shooting her to stardom. Her sound, rooted in traditional country, connected with fans who wanted authenticity during a time when country music was beginning to lean toward crossover pop. Reba stood out with her ability to sing lyrics in a way that felt deeply personal, as though she was telling her own story through every song. Her live performances were equally amazing, marked by warmth, charm, and a strong connection to her audience. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Reba McEntire rose to superstardom, becoming one of the best-selling female country artists of all time. Her ability to show deep emotion in songs such as Whoever's in New England and The Last One to Know made her a household name. She had a talent for choosing songs that told stories of heartache, strength, and everyday struggles, connecting deeply with fans who saw their own lives reflected in her lyrics. With her fiery red hair, commanding stage presence, and heartfelt performances, she carved out her own place in the country music world. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Reba achieved superstar status, not only as a country singer, but also as a versatile entertainer. She earned many awards including Grammy Awards, Country Music Association, CMA, Awards, and Academy of Country Music, ACM, Awards, proving her reputation as a powerhouse vocalist. Her albums consistently topped the charts and hits like Fancy, Is There Life Out There? And The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia became anthems that showed off her amazing ability to combine storytelling with dramatic performance. Beyond her recordings, Reba expanded into acting, starring in films such as Tremors and later headlining her own successful television sitcom Reba, which ran for 6 seasons and introduced her to an even wider audience outside the country music world. Reba's personal life also shaped her career and legacy. She faced both triumphs and tragedies, including the heartbreaking 1991 plane crash that killed several members of her touring band. Despite the sadness, she continued to honor their memory by moving forward, showing resilience and strength in the face of loss. Her marriages, including her long relationship with manager Narvel Blackstock, played a big role in her personal and professional journey, though she has spoken honestly about the challenges of divorce and starting over. Through it all, Reba's authenticity and willingness to share her struggles with her fans made her not only admired, but deeply loved. Reba McEntire's personal life, much like her career, has been filled with both joy and challenges, and her marriages played big roles in shaping her journey. Her first husband was Charlie Battles, whom she married in 1976. Battles was a champion steer wrestler, well known in the rodeo world, and much older than Reba. At the time of their marriage, Reba was still at the beginning of her career, just starting to find her footing in the country music industry. Charlie was also a rancher, and together the couple shared a love of the Western lifestyle. For a while, Reba lived the life of a ranch wife, helping with chores and balancing the demands of a growing career with the expectations of married life. However, as her fame grew and her career required more time and dedication, problems began to appear in the relationship. Reba has spoken honestly about the challenges of this marriage, explaining that their goals were often different. Charlie wanted a traditional home life while Reba's star was rising and pulling her toward a larger world of performance, recording, and travel. Despite over a decade of marriage, the union eventually could not handle the differences, and in 1987, the couple divorced. Though painful, this was a turning point in Reba's life, freeing her to pursue her music with full dedication and laying the groundwork for the incredible career expansion she would soon experience. 2 years later, in 1989, Reba found love again when she married Narvel Blackstock, who had been a steel guitar player in her band before eventually becoming her manager. Narvel was not only deeply involved in her professional life, but also became central to her personal one. Their marriage marked a new chapter for Reba. This time, her personal and professional worlds were closely connected. The couple created Starstruck Entertainment, a management and production company, which played a huge role in turning Reba into one of the most successful and recognizable figures in country music. Narvel provided strategic guidance and support that went well with Reba's extraordinary talent and work ethic, and together they became one of Nashville's most powerful couples. Their marriage also expanded Reba's family life. Through Narvel, she became a stepmother to his 3 children from a previous marriage. And in 1990, the couple welcomed their son, Shelby Blackstock, who would later grow up to become a professional race car driver. For over 2 decades, Reba and Narvel's relationship seemed to be both a strong personal partnership and a highly productive professional collaboration. However, after 26 years of marriage, the couple announced their divorce in 2015, a decision that shocked many of their fans. Reba herself admitted that the separation was not her choice and that it was one of the most difficult and heartbreaking experiences of her life. Still, she showed the resilience she had always been known for, continuing to maintain her career, her family ties, and her characteristic warmth even during this personal trial. At the age of 70, country music icon Reba McEntire is reflecting on her life and career with a kind of openness that only comes with time, experience, and perspective. In recent conversations, she has begun sharing her true feelings about her former daughter-in-law and fellow powerhouse vocalist, Kelly Clarkson. For years, people wondered about the nature of their relationship. Were they close? Were there tensions? And how did the relationship between them change after Clarkson's divorce from McEntire's former stepson Brandon Blackstock? Reba, never one to shy away from speaking her mind, has decided that the time has come to clear the air. Kelly is one of the strongest, most talented women I've ever known, Reba explained with a mixture of admiration and warmth. For McEntire, Clarkson was never just the girl who married into her family. She was an artist in her own right who brought a fresh energy to country and pop music alike. Reba clearly remembers Clarkson's quick rise to fame after winning the first season of American Idol in 2002, saying, "I saw her perform back then, and even though she was young and still finding her style, I knew she had that rare gift that comes along once in a generation. Her voice can knock you flat on the floor and her heart comes through every note she sings." When Kelly married Brandon Blackstock in 2013, the connection between Reba and Kelly deepened beyond the music industry. Reba had already known Clarkson as a colleague and friend, but now she welcomed her into the family. "We laughed a lot together. Kelly has this down-to-earth sense of humor that reminds me of home." Reba admitted the two even shared the stage on multiple occasions, delighting fans with their powerhouse duets. Their version of "Because of You" during their 2007 collaboration remains one of Reba's favorite performances. When you sing with Kelly, you don't just trade lines, you share a story. She puts everything she has into her music, and it makes you want to rise to the occasion and give your very best. However, Reba also knows that life is rarely simple, especially when personal relationships and family ties mix with careers lived in the spotlight. When Kelly and Brandon went through a very public and painful divorce, the situation naturally touched Reba as well. Divorce is hard, no matter who you are or what your life looks like. "I love my family deeply, and that includes Kelly. So, when their marriage ended, my heart hurt for both of them. I didn't pick sides. I just wanted what was best for everyone involved, especially the kids." Her honesty reveals not just affection for Clarkson, but also the balancing act Reba has had to perform as a mother figure and mentor in the family. She was clear that her respect for Kelly never got smaller. Some people think that when a relationship like that ends, you stop being close. But love doesn't just disappear. "I'll always care for Kelly. She's a wonderful mother, a devoted artist, and she has a spirit that can't be broken." Looking back, Reba is especially proud of how Kelly handled herself during those challenging years. She stood tall. She didn't let the hard times silence her, and that's something I admire. Kelly has always been true to herself, and that's a lesson we can all learn from. "I know what it feels like to go through divorce, and I know the pain of trying to find yourself again." Kelly did it with courage and grace. In sharing her truth, Reba hopes to put to rest any rumors that she and Kelly were ever estranged. The truth is simple. I love Kelly Clarkson. I always have and I always will. She's family no matter what, and I'll keep cheering her on every step of the way. At 70 years old, Reba McEntire has reached a point in her life and career where she speaks with a wisdom that only comes from decades of living through triumphs and tragedies. Known as the Queen of Country, she has not only sung about heartbreak and resilience, but has also lived through difficult losses in her personal life. That perspective has made her a source of comfort and strength for those around her, particularly her former stepdaughter, Kelly Clarkson, and Kelly's 2 children with Brandon Blackstock, River Rose, and Remington. Recently, Reba opened up about how the children are coping with the devastating loss of their father, Brandon. And her words carry both seriousness and compassion. Kelly's kids are so strong, stronger than a lot of adults I know, Reba shared, her voice heavy with emotion. When children lose a parent, especially at such a young age, the world becomes a confusing place. But River and Remy, with Kelly guiding them, have shown resilience that inspires me. The death of Brandon Blackstock was not only a shock to his family, but also to those who knew him through his long connection to the music industry. As Reba pointed out, the children were forced to face grief earlier than most people do. I've been around those babies since they were little, she said. Watching them go through this has been heartbreaking, but at the same time, I see in them a light and a strength that I know Brandon would be proud of. Reba also highlighted the important role Kelly has played in helping the children process their loss. Kelly has been remarkable. Reba explained, she's been their rock, making sure they know it's okay to cry, it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to remember their daddy in their own way. She's giving them the tools to grieve while still celebrating the life that Brandon lived. For Reba, this subject hits especially close to home. Having lost her own band members and manager in a devastating plane crash in 1991, she knows the unique shape of grief. I know what it's like to have your world ripped apart in an instant, she said. That's why I want to be there for Kelly and those kids in any way I can. Grief doesn't go away. It changes you. But it can also make you stronger if you've got love and support around you. McEntire admitted that the children are still young and that their journey with grief will be ongoing. River and Remy are processing it differently. She noted, River is older. She has more questions. She wants to understand. Remy, being younger, just wants to feel safe and loved. And Kelly makes sure they both feel that every single day. She also emphasized that allowing children to keep memories alive is one of the most healing things a family can do. Kelly tells them stories about their dad. They look at pictures together. They talk about the good times that keeps Brandon present in their hearts. And when they do that, the kids don't feel like they've lost him completely. They carry him with them. Reba admitted her admiration for Kelly. Not just as a powerhouse singer, but as a mother. I've always loved Kelly ever since she came into the family, she said. But seeing her now, seeing the way she puts those kids first and carries herself with grace while grieving, too, it's just remarkable. I couldn't be prouder of her.